This week in disc golf, we got to see pros trying for the first time this year, and it got interesting.
Okay guys, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe if you're looking to support the channel, and make sure to check out our other channel, West Coast Disc Golf. We got a bunch of cool content over on that channel. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video.
First off, we have some thoughts on DGN. We just wanted to wait for this week after we've watched the chess.com. So first off, the sound, just with the wind and rain at the All-Stars and now with the wind at chess.com, just was like really loud, and the mics were just really exposed to that. There's just some random rattling from, I think, the tripods, and it just sounds like there's a natural disaster every like 30 seconds. It feels like something like there's a bomb going off in the distance or something.
The sound was also just really bad at the Olympus course, being right on the highway. There's lots of buses going by, and in that part of Florida, you are allowed to shoot, so there's shooting ranges everywhere. So the sound overall was bad, but the tripod noise and the mics picking up the wind was definitely assaulting to your ears when viewing. So another thing that a lot of people have been complaining about is the PDGA subscription didn't get them a discount at checkout. It said the same thing for us, that our PDGA discount expired, but then we tried again and it ended up working, so I guess we just got lucky, but definitely weird that it hasn't worked for some people.
So moving on, we had just like random graphics popping up, like we were watching FPO right in the middle of Hannah Blumroof's drive. Random graphic just popped up that said Haley King DNF, and I don't think the commentators even like acknowledged it. It just popped up, but like I don't think it was supposed to be there at that time. The Bushnell graphics are just popping up all over the place. We're watching on like hole 3, and somehow the graphics are still set to hole 1, which is a little weird.
So yeah, the graphics have been a problem in previous years. Not this bad though, and you would think that they would be changing it because they are upgrading their prices and making it more of a premium product. One of Anthony Barela's 30-foot putts, the Bushnell range said it was 100 feet. Just a continuing problem for DGN, and it just seems to have gotten worse, which is not good with the increase of price.
Also another thing with DGN, their thing is like streaming on multiple devices now, and for us, we don't know if this happens to anybody else, but every time we want to go watch on our TV, we have to sign in on another device, like a laptop or iPad or phone. So you have to like type in this code, which is really annoying because if you ever want to reset the app, you have to go grab another device and re-sign in.
And if we want to watch content that was previously live and is now not live, we have to leave the app, re-log in using that code from another device to watch it. So just you can't leave the app and get back into the app without logging in, which is definitely not something that happens on other streaming platforms like Sportsnet or TSN or DAZN or streaming platforms like that. So hopefully that's a bug that they can fix, and hopefully most of this is stuff that they can fix, but we'll have to see.
The last thing that we were all excited about for DGN, their skip back on live, so you can watch from the beginning or you can just pause it on live, but there's no restart button on the app, so you just have to like pause it, pray to God that you're not going to see anything, and then try to skip back as fast as possible with your eyes closed, not even knowing if you're doing the right thing. So that's really frustrating. Don't know if they're going to fix that, but it is just really frustrating to have to do that every time if you want to watch properly.
That's definitely a gimmicky aspect of the skip back from live, but still happy that we can skip back from live. But enough of us whining about DGN. Let's move on to the big deal here. Chess.com Invitational, which wasn't really an invitational, just went down. Magnus Carlsen in attendance. Definitely good to see Chess.com being involved in this tournament as a outside sponsorship, and it really was a great sponsorship, and we got sunny weather for most of the tournament, which was good because that course doesn't hold up in rain. There's a bit of rain in the first round and wind throughout the tournament, but other than that, good weather. Round 1, we saw Ricky Wysocki, Anthony Barela, Nicholas Antela, Joseph Anderson all shoot -6. So we had a lot of people clogged at the top fighting for first. So that was going to make an interesting second round already. But just below them, we had Gavin Rathbun, Gannon Burr, Mason Ford, Kyle Klein, Thomas Gilbert, Nate Hecker, all in the mix, just a few strokes behind. So tight race at the top. and definitely gonna make an interesting second round. So Paul Macbeth back from the Euro Tour on the Pro Tour again. Started off nice, was making some putts, getting birdies, but ended up just kind of plateauing midway through the round and ended up shooting even for the round, which was definitely not what he was looking for. And definitely a lot of eyes on him coming back from the Euro Tour, and definitely below expected performance on a course that he had influence in designing. A couple other big names to look at who had poor rounds. Isaac Robinson also shooting even in that round. So that's definitely disappointing. And the player of the year last year, Calvin Heimberg, shooting +1 in the first round, which is not what you're looking for. So definitely not the consistent rounds we have been seeing from him frequently. But on the FPO side, we saw the same tight race at the top with Natalie Ryan shooting -6. -6 seems to be a trend on this course. Evelina Salonen right behind at -5, tied with Holland Hanley. And then Ella Hansen at -4, right behind her. And then Henna Blomroos and Haley King at -3. So again, super tight race at the top, and definitely going to make up an interesting second round. And we did get to see Paige Pierce play after injury at European Open. She shot a +3, which put her in the mix, but not really in contention. So better than Paul Macbeth, but definitely a lackluster performance from her.
Round 2. So we saw Anthony Barela on lead card. He did take a strong start with birdie par birdie to take Ricky Wysocki by storm, and then looks like he quavered there and got a double bogey on the 4th hole. So Anthony Barela taking a quick lead at the start, and then kind of went that way until the 10th hole, where Ricky Wysocki decided he's going to stop horsing around and go Ricky Wysocki mode with all birdies except for 1 par on hole 12, which is wild. But classic Ricky Wysocki fashion, we saw Kyle Klein work his way up there, Aaron Gossage work his way up there. Isaac Robinson did shoot -5 in that round. Paul Macbeth shot a little better, -3. Calvin Heimberg shooting -3. They were showing him like they just hoping that he'd do well. He never really came through. So yeah, at the end of that round, we had Anthony Barela at -13 shooting a -7. Ricky Wysocki shooting -6, and he was at -12, and then Kyle Klein at -11 total, shooting a -7 with Barela. Also, Mason Ford cashed a sweet throw in there. So yeah, pretty good round. And now we're gonna hop over to the FPO side. We saw Natalie Ryan take a deep dive, and then looks like Missy Gannon and Holland Hanley both took advantage of that and got 2 birdies in those first 4 holes, and Missy Gannon getting 1 birdie in those first 4 holes. And then kind of just played out kind of how we expected, kind of how those first 4 holes projected. Natalie Ryan got 4 birdies to come back from mistakes on the first 4 holes, and then kind of plateaued there, getting a couple bogeys along the way. And then Ella Hansen ending up shooting a -6, which really seems to be a trend. She would end the day at -10. Holland Hanley would also end the day at -10. 2 good friends up at the top. She would shoot a -5 that round. Missy Gannon would shoot a -7 that round, getting her to -9. And Evelina would shoot a -3 with an eagle on the last hole, which is a pretty nice eagle to get there. And she would finish at -8, tied with Natalie Ryan. One other notable thing for that round, Haley King did DNF.
Round 3 got really interesting. Anthony Barela starting off the round hot, getting a couple of birdies, and Ricky Wysocki definitely not having the same start, getting a birdie on the first, but then taking a bogey and a double bogey. So definitely separation at the top at the beginning of the round, and then moving into the back stretch. Anthony Barela started to slow down, and Ricky went into Ricky mode, and it got really tight at the top with Aaron Gossage pressing as well, going on a string of birdies. Definitely forces challenging Anthony Barela, and we were just hoping that he didn't tin cup like he did at European Open. We were just keeping our fingers crossed. That double bogey on 17 definitely had us thinking of European Open, but he ended up pulling it off in the end, shooting a -18. Ricky Wysocki shooting a -17, and Aaron Gossage shooting a -16. So way closer than we expected halfway through that final round, but he still squeezed out the win, and so happy to see him celebrating with all his friends from Discraft, and just happy to see him finally get that win after the terrible Tin Cup at European Open. Some other notable names: Isaac Robinson ended up climbing back to a tie for 6th after his poor start to the round. Gannon Buhr finishing 4th with his new plastic with Discmania, so not a bad start with Discmania. Calvin Heimberg was tied for 34th, so definitely not going to see a super consistent season this year. Hopefully that means some major wins, because that might be the season he's projecting to end up having, kind of like Isaac Robinson last year. Definitely would be happy with that. Paul McBeth with an even more mediocre performance, tied for 52nd, shooting +1 for the tournament and +4 in his final round. Really rough round for him, and really rough first tournament, shooting below 1,000 rated in the final round. Definitely tough to see. So that might mean he's going back to the Euro Tour. Calvin might jump on a plane with him. We'll see. Hopefully Paul McBeth will have some good rounds and some good tournaments this year, because it's always good to see him in GOAT mode, just like tearing up courses. Maybe Worlds is his tournament because he literally made the course. We'll have to see. But moving over to the FPO side, we had a very interesting round. At the beginning of the round, Ella Hansen and Holland Hanley had rough start with single and double bogeys, and Evelina picked up a birdie on the first and on the fourth. Missy Gannon also taking a bogey, but keeping it at just that. And then Missy Gannon goes on a crazy string of birdies and pulls ahead. And after that, Missy Gannon and Evelina Salonen really separate themselves from Ella and Holland. And it's really them battling at the top. Ella is definitely still in it, but is really between Missy Gannon and Evelina Salonen. And it goes all the way till the end. Missy Gannon making a big 60-foot putt for birdie on a hole that Evelina was parked on. Evelina's putting was finally good for a whole round. We finally got to see what Evelina was like with good putting. If her putting can stay good, she will be literally one of the best players on the FPO side, and she'll be winning a lot more events. So hopefully her putting continues to be good. In the end, Evelina taking it down. She had the lead going to the last hole, barely landed in bounds, and then decided to go for the eagle, which is an absolutely crazy move, and it was an amazing shot, put it to like 20 feet, and so happy that she was going to get the eagle in the last hole, and then she lays it up from 22 feet.
What the hell?
So don't really get why you'd go for the eagle on the hole and then lay it up, but she did need that as leverage to guarantee herself the win, and she pulled it off, and she looked absolutely amazing in the final round, playing incredible. Her first win since Waco in 2020, which was an asterisk win because the last round was canceled due to COVID, so that was really a big win for her and a good way to establish herself on tour, even though she was already definitely established. So Paige Pierce finishing tied for 10th, total shooting +1 in the final round and +3 total for the tournament. Pretty good coming back from her injury, and definitely good to see her fighting, unlike Paul McBeth, who's probably just going to fly back to Europe so that he can win some tournaments, but definitely a pretty solid performance from her. Also that round, we saw 2 throw-ins from Morgan Linz, which makes it 3 throw-ins total for the tournament. 1 from Mason Ford in round 2, and then those 2 from Morgan Linz in round 3. Definitely impressive. And also Henna Blomroos almost acing the same hole she aced in All-Stars, hitting the cage. She has that hole absolutely dialed, and yeah, some fireworks from lots of players on the FPO side. But that is it for the Chess.com Invitational. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to go check out our other channel, West Coast Disc Golf. We have lots of cool disc golf content over on that channel. And if you have any thoughts or anything you want us to discuss in our next video or future videos, don't be afraid to comment. Let us know what you want us to discuss. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.